those stairs. All right, so here's what happened. After I went to college with Julia Stiles, I came back to Baltimore, and I got a job teaching, substitute teaching kindergarten while the real teacher was in rehab. And it was delightful. But it wasn't really for me, and so I found another job working for the Baltimore Sun, and this is the dream. Now, I wasn't writing for the Baltimore Sun. I wasn't doing any of the things I went to college for. I was working in the customer service department. And not the customer service department where you call up and you're like, I didn't like what you said, I'll find an email. Like, no, this is the customer service department where you call and you say, I didn't get my paper this morning. Really simple. I come to work at 5, I'd work till noon, I'd go home and I'd watch Days of Our Lives. It was a really amazing thing. I was getting paid an amazing amount of money to do it. And I worked with a team of 4. And like I said, we all came at 5 except for Gloria, who came whenever the fuck she wanted because she had a kid and her dad, the kid's father wasn't around, and she didn't have any goddamn time. She's been with the department since the telephone was invented, so glad motherfuck you, motherfuckers. Gloria was the shining light of our department. So I worked with a team of 4. Gloria was half black and half Italian, and the two halves didn't seem to get along very well, like everywhere. She liked to listen to gospel in the morning, and then she would switch to like conservative talk radio in the afternoon, or early afternoon, as it were. And she agreed with everything they said. She'd tell me like, that Rush Limbaugh has some really good points, and I would be like, Gloria, I don't know if you've seen your skin lately, but I don't know that you would agree with that. She once told me, she was like, if God wanted all of us to be equal, He would have made us all the same color. And I guess I can't really argue with that, so whatever. She also, she had this theory. She was like, the problem with America is that stupid people have too many rights, which again, I can't really argue with. So that was Gloria. There was also Clarence, who worked in our department, and Clarence, we all thought was gay in the beginning, and Gloria told me, she was like, you should throw him a bone, which, Gloria was a racist, but she was apparently not a homophobe. Unfortunately, Clarence wasn't gay, he was just stupid. Which is not really, well, yes. So, and I was annoyed by that because I don't really like to work with anything except for gays and women, no offense. But I just really liked to work with them, and so Clarence was kind of a disappointment in my book. Clarence sat right across from me. He would just sort of peek out like from behind his computer screen, like expectantly, and I never knew what to say to him because he didn't watch Days of Our Lives, and that's really all I talked about during that time. So, the job was pretty simple, and they paid me $17 an hour, and a time and a half if there was a blizzard, or if there was a holiday, or if I was working overtime, and it was amazing. It was the American dream for me, and I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just want to sit in the customer service department, and when people call up and they say, like, hey, I didn't get my paper, I'd be like, I will get you a new paper, or I will replace that paper. It was the simplest thing. And of course, like, we all had different styles. Like, people would call Gloria, and they'd be like, my paper got wet, and she'd be like, 90% of the earth is water. What do you want me to do about it? Like, true, I get it, but not exactly what people wanted, My other favorite Gloria line, she would say, like, I am not your therapist, which is also true, but not what people were like. People were like, it was sad. Like, people would call and say, like, there are older people who'd be like, the paper man throws my paper just too far for me to get to. It's down the stairs, and I can't get down the stairs. And Gloria would be like, I am not your therapist. And then, like, she would transfer the call to me, and I'd be like, I'll get you your paper man. Thank you very much. It's a very simple job. The last person in the department was a girl named Magda. And she was from Belarus, apparently. And she hated everything. She hated everything about everything. She hated everything about America, so she and Gloria would just sort of join hands in like this sort of like weird, like immigrant, conservative, like xenophobic chorus. And she hated the telephone. We had a simple telephone. It was just sort of like, maybe like 4 or 5 lines. I don't remember how many lines, but it had a headset, and it would beep, and you would just sort of talk. But sometimes you had to put somebody on hold or whatever, transfer, and she couldn't get it. She was like, I hate this phone, stupid fucking phone. In Belarus, 2 buttons. Talk or don't talk. I don't think it's true. She's like, don't talk. And Clarence, God bless his heart, he would say, how do you know who you're calling? How do you dial? And Gloria, I swear to God, was like, Clarence, seriously, you're the reason that this country sucks. Stupid people have too many goddamn rights, which is true. So, and one time, Clarence asked that question, and Magda's like, who is talking? Who is talking in Belarus? Who is talking? And she goes on this huge rant about what is to say? hello, life is hard. I agree. Goodbye. Fibber sounds like a terrible place, but I'm not sure it's as bad as Magda told us it was. And Gloria, of course, is like cracking up. Her line with Magda was like, Magda, you was a fucking asshole. Because she was. So anyway, we got there at 5 every morning. And we had to get coffee at 7:30 because we were all sort of falling apart. And we would draw straws. And the Dunkin' Donuts was like 1 block away, and around the corner is near this little like civic park that had been sort of constructed in the 70s that had that weird like wooden 70s architecture that was like sort of like, it was maybe a body like descending a staircase. It was something. It was like weird and bulky and ugly. And it had like 1 tree and a bench, and this was the park, and there was this woman who lived there. And Gloria said the woman's name was Margie, although we don't really know, I don't really know what the woman's name was, but she was like her normal crazy person. And she just sort of babbled to herself, and she would always be awake. And I found this so fascinating because, like, if I was crazy, I wouldn't be awake at like 7:30 in the morning, but she was always awake. And I remark about this because you had to go, when you drew straws, you walked to Dunkin' Donuts, you got the coffee for everyone, and you came back, you had to have Margie's story, had to report on what Margie was doing. Because the only thing more important than what we were doing was what the crazy homeless black lady was doing. Like, that was what our lives were about. And I remarked one time when I came back with my Margie story, I was like, how is she always awake at 7:30 in the morning? And Clarence is like, well, maybe she has an alarm clock. And like Gloria was like, you are an asshole, Clarice. Which I just think it'd be funny if, like, you know, like she's like got all these newspapers and like detritus and everything, and then like a laptop with like Outlook that's like, boop, 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 act crazy now. She's like, I'm crazy. And she was always just babbling to herself. You never understood what she was doing. Like sometimes like she was like peeing somewhere, like just ridiculous, you know, the usual stuff. And so we told these Margie stories. And that was life, you know. And I started to wonder, like, can I do this forever? Like, can I be around like the complete psychotic racism slash self-hatred of Gloria forever? Can I make $17 plus overtime on like weekends and if it snows or if it's a blizzard forever? And I thought, I guess I probably can. And you know, Gloria had been there since like I said, the telephone had been invented, and Magda had been there for a good couple of years. And it was weird to me like that they hated it so much. They hated everything so much. And I said to myself, like, I'm going to become these crazy old ladies. And I was like, well, that's not that bad. But I was concerned. I was concerned that my life would become this, and I would sort of sell myself short. It was interesting to me the way that like Magda would complain, for instance. Like she hated everything. America was terrible. The phones were stupid. And one time I made the mistake of conceding. I was like, all right, Magda, Belarus is better. And she's like, no, Belarus is not better. I was like, okay, what are you saying? She's like, she tells this story, which I later heard many, many times, and Gloria turns her gospel down. She's like, I fucking love this motherfucking story. Magda's like, my father tried to get to America for many years, and he never made it. He gets to the door is closed, in his face. It says, good morning, Magda's father. Sorry, you cannot come in, go back to Belarus, be a failure, love Richard Nixon. That was really what the America said. She says to me, she's like, but I come many years later. I get to go to America by the skin of my teeth. She goes, look at my teeth, no skin. Gloria's like, you are an asshole, Magda. She's like, no, Belarus is not better. 2 shitholes, better shithole. I was like, all right, better shithole. One afternoon, I was supposed to go to get the coffee, and I walked by Margie in the park, and I was feeling really benevolent. My brother had gone to Haiti to be a missionary, and I was, you know, like sitting at home, like drinking too much and watching Days of Our Lives. So I was like, maybe I should be more benevolent in my life. So I call out. I was like, hey, can I get you a cup of coffee? And she looks up at me. She's like, what? I was like, this is already mistake. Why do you talk to the homeless? I don't know. She's like, what? I was like, can I get you a cup of coffee? She's like, you an angel? And I was like, oh, goddamn fucking crazy people. Oh, which is so fucking crazy. Like, I just want to get you a cup of coffee and be on with my day. I was like, no, I'm not an angel. I just want to get you a coffee. She's like, we are entertaining angels unawares. Which, I mean, like, really. And I was like, well, I'm going to write that down and tell that on stage one day. But in the meantime, cream, sugar, anything like that. She's like, yeah. I was like, fine. So I go, I come back, I bring her the coffee. She's like, not my time. I was like, this fucking bitch thinks I'm the angel of death. I don't know what's going on. I was like, no, you got plenty of time. So I walk away. And she calls after me and she's like, good. It's a good place. So I walk back to the office. And they're like, well, what's your margin story? And I was like, it's too weird to tell. Like, there's no story. Like, I order a cup of coffee. And I tried to explain it to them, and Gloria's like, which meant she was not pleased with Marty's story, and then she would not talk to her the rest of the afternoon, and she turned her radio back up. She wasn't interested. I don't know what it seems to me, you know, I'm with these people who are living out their own American dreams, you know. Gloria's got her job, she's taking care of her son, and Magnus made it to America by the skin of her teeth, no skin. And Clarence, you know, even though he's an idiot, he's taking care of whatever he needs to take care of. And even Marty, who got her job being crazy at the same time every day, she appreciates it. She's glad to be there. It was their own little American dream. It wasn't my American dream. I had to eventually quit because I could never figure out how to wake up on time to get to work. So quitting is my nice way of saying I got fired. But it led me here to a place where I could tell this story, which is kind of my American dream. So, thanks for listening.